This is the Red River. It's one of the main rivers that flows right through North America. But this is the Alexander Docks in Winnipeg. So in early August 2014, August 8th, Sunday afternoon, there was a gentleman here walking with his kids, and he spotted what he believed to be a body just probably about 50 meters north of the fence here and maybe 10 meters out into the water. And he saw what he believed to be a human arm, and he alerted the police that were in the area. And what they recovered was a body of a female wrapped in a bed sheet, a duvet cover, and had been weighed down.
死者是一名15岁土著少女，来自萨基恩第一民族部落，她叫蒂娜·方甘，已被曝失踪9天。
The homicide unit entered what has become a long and complicated investigation. The murder of this child, and let's not forget she was a child, has shocked and outraged our community. And I think that outrage has resonated across our nation.
他的死促使人们走上街头，再次呼吁国家部门启动调查，找出凶手。
First of all, our hearts go out to family and friends of Tina Fontaine. The entire First Nations and Aboriginal communities across the country are reeling with this particularly poignant and tragic loss, but it comes on a compounded loss of so many missing and murdered over the years.
In 暴力而饱受丧亲之痛的不止蒂娜的家人。
It takes your mind off everything, and I mean, I think of my sister every time I bleed, but it's not a bad way. It's not the ugly part of what happened. It's beautiful memories of her.
在温尼伯市北部的坎尼切克活动中心，杰利·里庞曼和吉姆·麦克弗森姐妹正在举行周4晚的一个仪式。
Yep, one beat at a time. We always make jokes about like beating, you know, like beat it like Michael Jackson, you know, beat it, or one beat at a time, like one day at a time. Just really nerdy jokes.
杰利里和吉姆和不少女性一样，每周都会来到中心，为暴力、凶杀和人口失踪的土著受害者家庭提供帮助。
We used to be when we were like in our teens, like 12, 13. We used to be at home, right?
And same with our sister Jennifer.
詹妮弗是2个孩子的母亲，在不列颠哥伦比亚省被杀害时年仅41岁。许多家庭感到，面对此类犯罪的土著群体所得到的援助还不够。
When our sister went missing, there was an actual error on her identity. They actually mistakenly put Caucasian. We decided we're just going to leave it as Caucasian because she'll get more attention, you know, instead of changing it to Aboriginal.
The thing with a lot of Indigenous families, it's not just one tragedy, it's multiple tragedies. Like I've heard of one family where there's been 4 or 5 women that have gone missing or have been murdered.
这片区域的街道看似寂静，实则不然。伯纳戴特·史密斯还在找自己的同父异母的姐姐克劳戴特，她已经找了7年。
On July 24th, she was with my sister Tina, and they had said goodbye to each other at a crosswalk on Selkirk and Charles. My sister went one way, my other sister went the other way, and that was the last time anyone seen Claudette from our family. With someone who's missing, you never really know, right? It's always the wondering, you know, phone rings and it's like, is that the call to let you know? Or doorbell rings and, you know, so you're always left constantly wondering. You're always left, you know, driving past the field and thinking, you know, could she be in that field? Like, it's very difficult. Like, it's not something that you can move on and kind of heal because you have no answers. Like, there's nothing. What can you find? Like, we live in such a big country where there's so much field.
曼尼托巴省的土著人口占全加戈省之首，不少人对自己的安全表示高度担忧。
Well, even as an adult woman, I'm very careful when I walk the street, and you know, because people just like there's a lot of creepy people out there.
I have a daughter. She's 21, and every time she goes out, is she gonna come home? Like, you know, it's call me, let me know where you are, or I'll call her. You know, I'm constantly worrying about her, and it's scary.
You know, my sister was an Aboriginal person. She was a woman. She was someone who had a known drug addiction, and she also had a criminal record. So we felt all of those things played a role in, you know, the police not taking action right away, and the response we got with, you know, she'll turn up, she's an adult, she's out there somewhere.
1980年来，加拿大警方共记录1183起土著妇女和女童被杀或失踪事件。这个惊人的数字促使温尼伯立下这座纪念碑，表示缅怀。维多利亚·托里科尔布茨是来自菲律宾的独立专家，受联合国任命与加拿大政府合作开展全国性调查。
Well, I was very encouraged by the response because it seems they are really sincerely interested to pursue the case, to address the case once and for all.
他会和3位受到任命的加拿大女性部长一起设计调查程序，努力查清为什么本国土著妇女和女童生活在如此危险之中。
Specifically, these 3 women have led the setting up of a truly national inquiry into this tragedy to provide justice for the victims, to provide healing for the families.
Some have linked this violence to the long-term impacts of racism, sexism, colonialism, and the devastating impacts of residential schools on Indigenous men, women, and communities.
But I think the more important thing, and this is what I stress with them, that they include Indigenous women who have really suffered from this problem, because they will be the ones who can say what can be done.
比如温尼博士的这些女性，随着调查的展开，温尼博社区成员提供了新证据，帮助警方逮捕了嫌疑人。
Today, I'm informing the public that Raymond Joseph Cormier has been charged with second-degree murder in the death of Tina Fontaine.
科米埃现年55岁，经温尼伯警方一路追查，最终在温哥华落网。他的初步庭审听证定在2017年5月。
This was wrong. This little girl should not have been killed. We've all let her down. Like, at every level of society has let this kid down. She had so much potential, like every other kid in the world, and this is what's happened to her. But the way the community pulled together, the entire community pulled together to conclude this investigation, we couldn't have done it without the people of Winnipeg.
A 15-year-old's body, you know, wrapped in a garbage bag, disposed of in the Red River like she's garbage, you know, was just, I think it woke our country up. You know, I think people started to see that could be their daughter, right? That could be their sister, that could, you know, they now started to see themselves reflected in that, and that it could happen to them, and that, you know, I need to do something about it, I need to get involved.